Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the Salescast Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we are on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
Great news! The Selling from the Heart book has been picked up by a New York publishing house and is now on the Barnes & Noble website. To help fuel the growth in our movement of authenticity, it'd be awesome to get the book not just on the website, but also on the shelves of Barnes & Noble stores. To do this, we need to demonstrate how popular this book is by pre-ordering as many copies as possible. To thank you for helping me with this huge goal, when you pre-order the book on barnesandnoble.com, I will say thank you with over $250 in special bonus items. To get started, please pre-order Selling from the Heart on the barnesandnoble.com website. Then go to sellingfromtheheart.net/book to learn more about how to get your special bonus items. Thank you for your support as we continue to build this movement of authenticity inside the sales profession.
Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
All kinds of things. Here we are. We're knocking on summer's door. I can't believe it, Darrell.
Well, and this is a time we got to stay fired up. We got to stay focused and motivated throughout the summer. And we've got some exciting things for you on that. So stay tuned. And we've got an incredible episode today. Our friend and all around incredibly great guy with an imperfect plan is here, Don Barden. Just get ready. You're going to love this. This has become one of my all-time favorite, not just business books, but books in general. It's going to be a phenomenal conversation. And Larry, right here at Selling from the Heart, we are committed to keeping you fired up and focused throughout this summer. And there's never been a more important time to sell from the heart. We want to give a shout out to a good friend. It's so fun when audience members become friends. And this is somebody who absolutely has become a true near and dear friend to Selling from the Heart.
Oh, just a special shout out to Ben St. Clair. We met on a LinkedIn connection because Ben started listening to the podcast, grabbed the book, and finally, just about 30 days ago or so, we met face to face at the Selling from the Heart experience. Ben St. Clair, we love you. You are a Selling from the Heart champion.
100%, Ben. You're a total rock star. We appreciate you. Speaking of rock stars, Larry, the book is being re-released, and it is being released with broad distribution through our friends at Barnes & Noble. And right now, as we've been talking about on the podcast, pre-order the book on Barnes & Noble. And guess what? You get a lot of free stuff to help you make sure you crush your goals this summer.
Yeah, but what a journey this has been all since we started the podcast. The book comes out and, amazing things happen. I can't believe it's gone from being self-published to now being backed by a New York publisher. I'm over the moon. I can pinch myself on this one, but thank you, everybody. I really appreciate the support.
Yeah. So as a special thank you right now, you get over $300 in special bonus items. And one of those is a live coaching session from none other than Larry Levine himself on how he starts and structures his day for maximum impact. That right there is worth the price of admission. And the price of admission is simple. Just go pre-order the book, Selling from the Heart on barnesandnoble.com, and head over to our website at sellingfromtheheart.net/pre-order. It's in the show notes, the link right there, and you'll get access to how Larry starts and structures his day and many, many other free items to help you succeed. Well, if you want to succeed, what you need a plan, and it's best if you have a perfect plan, right, Larry?
Absolutely. I can't wait for Don to come on.
Well, let me introduce our friend Don Barden. He is a classically trained economist. He earned his MBA in global technology management and international business, as well as an undergraduate in economics and finance. And what's great about Don is he is a behavioral economist. He's the coolest behavioral economist I've ever met in my life. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He's fluent in business, all kinds of business, had an incredibly successful career. And he now challenges and motivates people to think deeply about their beliefs with a strategy to consistently achieve maximum communication, cultural impact, and sales. His unfair advantage theories are revolutionary in today's economy as he exposes the myth of modern sales and communication techniques. I can tell you one thing, it's going to be fun. Don, welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast. It's great to have you here.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. That's a great intro. I always say if you're going to make something up, make it good. So
absolutely.
You did really well. I appreciate that.
Hey, pass that person my way, Barden.
Yeah, that's right. I know. You keep going. Actually, Darrell, I just enjoy listening. So,
well, you can replay this as many times as you want.
That's
one thing I know we're going to want to hear, and people are going to want to replay, is your answer to the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast answers, and that is, Don, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
Selling from the heart, it's great. As a sales professional, you get up every day and you have a unique advantage over the rest of the world, right? You get to go out every day and make friends. Literally, that's it. And who wouldn't want to make a friend unless you're doing it from the heart? And your customers, your prospects, everyone. I mean, if you just go out there from the heart, you do it to your best, you give everything you've got, just like you would a friendship, the rewards come back. So to me, selling from the heart is about a mindset, really. It's about waking up every day and saying, I got two things I can do today. Number one, I can go make a new friend somewhere. And number two, I control my pay. I get a raise. So think about that. You get paid to make friends. And if you just do that with this incredible amount of sincerity, you do it just like you guys preach so much in the books and in your podcast and everything, which I so dearly appreciate. You just get out there and go do that. Man, I mean, what a great life you can have. But, selling is just one of those unique things in life that you get to transfer value. You get to make somebody else's life better. As Dan Sullivan says, you're the who of the how. And we can talk about that later, but, I'm a big believer in his work. And he always says that, you don't need to know how to do everything. You need to know who knows how to do something. And you hire that who to do something for you. They're doing it because they can get you there faster than you can do it on your own. And the best way to describe that who is a hero. You're bringing heroes around you. So if you think about that and you reverse it, and you think about selling from the heart, ask yourself, who are you the who to? Who can you be a hero to? And if you can do that with everything in your heart and just run to work every day knowing that you get to make new friends and give yourself a raise and be a hero to somebody, that's a pretty good gig, if you ask me. So I appreciate everything you guys are putting together on this.
Oh, this is so good. I'm glad you brought up the heart angle in this. And I'm just a big believer. Well, there's actually three things. If you can connect your head and your heart together and bring in some skill set into this, magic starts to happen. And I love you brought into the who part of this, because there's one thing, and I've learned this from you and Don, we appreciate you so much here at Selling from the Heart, is you never know who can help you. Yeah. And if you have that mindset of helping, but if you bring in the who, I'm just a big believer, it's one email and it's one phone call, and that who can help you achieve things that you couldn't do by yourself.
Yeah, quickly, right? They can help you. They can help you get somewhere fast. Yeah. I can put my economist nerd hat on, and I can prove to you that if you go hang a shingle out in front of your door, your store, whatever it is you're selling, it doesn't matter, ice cream, financial services, whatever, you put a shingle out there, over the next 100 years, you will saturate 100% of the viable population in that area. Will walk by, see it, be exposed to it, do something, right? So it's just a matter of time. But what great salespeople do is they accelerate time. They bring that person to you faster than what would have happened if they just stumbled by your shop and saw a sign and was curious on that day, at that moment, at that time when the sun was shining and the wind was blowing and the birds were chirping. You get an opportunity to accelerate the opportunity for people to engage, either business to business, business to consumer, or whatever you want to do. Sales, especially from the heart, is about speeding up time and making heroes, because you can do something for somebody that they couldn't do themselves in the amount of time that they need it. So it's a pretty good concept when you think about it.
Yeah.
I love that perspective. And just, if someone said, what do you do? I say, well, I accelerate, I shorten time to results. And ultimately, if you can't answer that question no one's going to hire you. But when you can, things get really magical. I think Who Not How, one of my favorite books. I think Dan Sullivan's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a great book for sales professionals to read, just to read it, flip it upside down and go, how do I become somebody's who?
Yes. Who am I the who to? Who am I the hero to? Who can I go out today and be a hero to? And if you think about that, you can get paid for it. You can be friends with them. You have a good life. You control your schedule and you go home at night and have a good night's sleep. It's like, wow, that beats the heck out of digging ditches. And I have nothing wrong. I really appreciate digging ditches, people. But, somebody's got to do it. But I just chose my life. That wasn't my unique ability. So
yeah, you know what? It's funny. I'll just flip this on its head on this one. There's a lot of salespeople out there that are digging themselves out of ditches. By the way,
oh yeah,
but not,
yeah. Well, yeah, they are.
Anyone that's hung out with us at all at Selling from the Heart knows that we are massive fans of this book right here. What I'm holding for those who are listening on audio. And by the way, you can watch this on YouTube and see our smiling faces. If you're listening on audio, I am holding up a copy of a well-worn copy, highlighted, bent, dog-eared, coffee spilled on it copy of one of my all-time favorite books, The Perfect Plan. The secret formula behind the world's top performers and what they do differently. Don, this book is pure genius, and it's genius. What I love about this book is, a lot of people write books but out of their experience. You wrote books both out of research and experience.
Right.
What brought you to put together? How did this perfect plan come together?
Yeah, well, thank you for the kind words. That means a lot to me. I tell people all the time, it's a C+ book, but it's a AAA+ message.
Oh,
and, no, it really is, because the original book had, God, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of words. It was an academic paper, and it was boring. Oh my God, it was boring. And thank God the publishers got a hold of it and said, we need to simplify this. We need to help somebody get there faster. Nobody's going to sit down and read, 800 pages of academic maturation around, chi-squares and all the ratios and the stuff. But if we can turn this into an airplane book and get people excited about it, the message is much better than the research data, was, although the data is conclusive. Quick background, I spent 25 years working on Wall Street and Wall Street-based firms, and I had gone back to school. I'm grossly overeducated for what I do, but I was working on my doctorate the first time. I'm doing it again now. We got a new book coming out next spring, I'll tell you about. But I was really excited about working on this paper, this research that I wanted to do. And the original theory was that the elite 1% of the producers in the world, and by producer, it could be just a straight line salesperson. It could be an innovator who owns a business, just the tip of the spear, the best of the best in business. Which the common denominator is that they're all salespeople, by the way, because you can have the greatest idea in the world. If you can't sell it, then it's not worth it. So it's not just, sales is not just about a product transaction. It's about selling the culture, the concepts, the ideas, everything behind it. But anyway, to make a long story short, we had this theory that these elite producers in the world did things differently, and they did it the same. So when you got to that tip of the spear, that elite 1% of the producers, the innovators out there, that there was some type of secret sauce that they were doing. And we wanted to know what that was. But more importantly, we wanted to know why it worked. And that's where the academia came in. It wasn't just, here, skip to chapter 7 or whatever and just do what it says. No, if you understand something, that is much, much more important than knowledge. People say, I know it. And I'm like, yeah, but do you understand it? And they're like, no, not really. But I know it. I can spit it out.
Yep.
It's like, well, I think it's more important for you to understand something. So we approach this research from, yes, we believe that the elite salespeople and producers and innovators in the world follow a plan, follow a cadence, follow a rhythm, and they do. We proved it. But more importantly, we went into the neuroscience, the biology, the psychosomatics of it, and we understand why they do it. Now, that doesn't mean that they had some grand scheme that they worked into. Some of them stumbled into it. Some of them just found it. Some of them did the research themselves and figured out why it works. But at the end of the day, we wanted to put structure around a very, very complex subject and simplify it so the readers could understand it and then therefore go out and apply it. And I tell you, you guys know this, if you apply the methodologies that we we learned and we studied. We did not create that. This is a reflection of what the best and the brightest do out there. Then, gosh, your sales pipeline will just be like a valve that you turn up and down at will. And that's what these great innovators and producers do. They have absolute control because they know what they're here to do, why they do it, and who they're doing it for. And that's what the book is about.
No, and I wore a yellow highlighter out on it. It still sits on my desk, by the way, Don. But here's what's interesting about it. Growing up with a father who was a rocket scientist, an aeronautical engineer, and liquid jet propulsion nerd, he overcomplicated everything. But what I like about your book is it's simple. And what's fascinating about this, and I hope that you'll go into it, is how you've laid this out is these 1%. It's simple things they do, but they do it really, really well. And just if you could just share a couple of these that you had found out, I don't want to spill it. I'd rather you share, but this is simple stuff that I believe everybody has the capability of doing.
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate that. Yeah. We broke the book down, and really the lecture series that we give around it, or I give around it, is based on 3 segmentations. Number 1 is around your mindset. And every one of these elite performers out there have a mindset of knowing that it's about being present, and that you're not here to be a servant to other people. You're here to be a steward of the opportunity that's been given to you. And that's a big difference, man. When you realize that you're here just to steward something, if you have a career in sales, you are stewarding that opportunity for as long as you've got. If you have a team, then you are their steward to help move them along. But the common denominator is that it will end, that it's just a short time. You've been graced and blessed, and you have this chance to go out there and touch people's lives. But my favorite line from the book is, the day you win a client is the day you begin to lose them. And that sounds so macabre and so negative, but it's actually not. It's actually invigorating, because it tells you, and these elite salespeople know this, when you get a client, you are going to lose that client. Now, if the universe says to you, hey, look, you're going to have about a 3 to 5 year run on this, you can sit there and go, okay, in this 3 years that I have an opportunity to steward this relationship and to serve the client, what can I do better to be present? What can I do to trick the system? If the universe says I've got this relationship for 3 years, maybe I can do it for 4, maybe I can do it for 5. If the client wants a 30% ROI, maybe I can give them 40. What can I do to be ever present? Because I know it will end. And great salespeople, great businesses get it. They know that every client they've got, every employee they've got, every relationship they have will end. And again, it's not macabre. It's actually the opposite. It's an opportunity, because now you have the opportunity to go out and lean in and be the best you can be to that client while you're there. And that little mindset, that little tweak separates them from the other 99% of the world. Because you have 2 camps out there. You have the cocky people who think, oh, I've had this account for 20 years. They're never going to leave me. Or, that's my brother-in-law. Yeah, well, tell me how it goes after he divorces your sister, or whatever. Everything comes, or their kid gets into the business, or they sell their business, or whatever. You cannot rely on your book of business. You have to constantly be hunting, because it's an opportunity to serve more people, but it's a rotational thing, And I think at the end of somebody's career, especially in sales, is they can look back and say, I did everything I could at every moment in time to be present, aware, and there, regardless of how long that relationship lasted, then I did my best. And that's the mindset that these folks have, that they know it's going to end, and they cherish that moment that they have with them. So as a sales professional, if you can recognize the time and say, man, I can't be a hit and run guy. I can't be a transactional guy. I've got to be a good steward who's here to serve and take advantage and cherish every moment I've got with this client. That little mindset tweak that you make, the client can feel it. And when they know that you're there for them, they know that even though their side of it might leave, or they might be quitting their job, or the hiring professional that engaged you might be retiring or moving on, they can look back with enormous amounts of gratitude and say, wow. So I think that's the big one, guys, is that it's the understanding that it will end. And it gives you permission to be present all the more, and to lean in and do it right. And one of our little sayings, I think, is in the book, is there's no right way to do the wrong thing. So just always be present, always concentrate on doing your best as a good steward to serve your client and be there for them. And the universe will reward you 1,000-fold if you have that mindset. So that's step number one, I think. If your salespeople can get to that, they're good.
I love it. I love it. And as I'm listening to that, this dovetails beautifully into a video we're about to watch. As you know, every week on the Selling from the Heart podcast, we'd love to hear from our community about what it means to them to sell from the heart. And we today have someone who is near and dear. She's actually part of the Selling from the Heart family itself. Jackie Joy is here today. We've got a special feature. Shout out to Jackie on what it means to her to sell from the heart. So we're going to hear from Jackie after a brief word from our sponsors. Darrell here, and I'm excited to share with you one of the most innovative tools we've come across in a long time. Our partners at Why Institute have developed an amazing platform that helps people discover their why operating system. It's truly amazing. In 10 minutes or less, you can know why you do what you do, how you bring your why to life, and what people can count on from you. It's truly the first step in self-awareness. If you're a coach or a sales leader who believes in helping your people understand who they are so they can be the best version of themselves, you've got to check this out. All you need to do is go to whyinstitute.com and look for the Why certification page. We'll put the link in the show notes. When you reach out to the Why Institute, let them know you heard about it here on Selling from the Heart, and you'll be on your way to helping your team discover what drives them.
What does selling from the heart mean to me? Let's first talk about the issue. Sales can be a tough business. Pressure is constantly on to hit targets, make the most of sales without much regard for the person behind the buyer. It is no secret that the sales industry has a tarnished reputation, often associated with sly and manipulative tactics, leaving customers feeling uneasy and distrustful. There's a better way to sell, a way that is more authentic and human. It is called selling from the heart. So what does selling from the heart mean to me? Absolutely everything. Selling from the heart is an authentic approach to building genuine connections with your prospects and clients while being honest and sincere. It is this authenticity that will establish a sense of trust that cannot be achieved through any other avenue. Selling from the heart also involves actively listening to your clients, taking the time to hear their needs and concerns and empathizing with their unique situation, bringing you to a solution-oriented approach to assist your client. A personal benefit and one of the best reasons for you to sell from the heart is that you'll never have to be concerned with a bad reputation or review. When you are selling from the heart, your reputation becomes one of an advisor or that go-to person. This is Jackie Joy, and that's what selling from the heart means to me.
I love it.
All right, Jackie.
Yeah, shout out to Jackie. We just got taken to school on selling from the heart right there. That was awesome, Jackie. Yeah. And by the way, if you're listening and you want to send a video in, we would love to hear from you. Just put that iPhone up in front of your face, smile, and explain what it means to sell from the heart. To get instructions on how to do that, super simple. Just text the word video to 21,000. That's video to 21,000. Well, I love this conversation, Don, and you've been talking about here over the last little segment about how important it is to be present and recognize that nothing lasts forever. What are some other things that you learned along the way in this journey?
Yeah, well, the first was that it's the mindset, but then it goes into saying, well, wait a minute, I might be a little bit different than the buyer. But people tend to default into thinking that they know everything, that they're the subject matter experts. And in some cases they are. There's no doubt. You might be selling some widget that you're the super expert on it. And the person who wants to buy it from you, they know they need it. But they don't really care, all the little things. They just want to know that it works, right? So we started looking at this and going deep into philosophy and into cognitive and cognitive minds and how the brain works. And we learned something that was really important, that when you learned something at any age, the age you are when you absorb it, that reflection, that mindset sticks with you forever. So if you learn something in fifth grade, then your maturity level in fifth grade, when you absorb that data, is going to hold on to that concept forever. And the big one that we focus on is the golden rule. And the golden rule you should have learned in kindergarten, Larry, was do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? And we teach that to kindergarten kids to be nice on the playground because you want somebody to be nice to you, right? And as a kindergartner, you absorb that and you think, wow, I need to treat people like they want to be treated because I want to be treated nice and I hope somebody else is nice to me too, right? Wrong. Oh my God, is that a disaster. That is the most selfish statement in the history of mankind. And it's actually the most misquoted statement in the history of mankind. And salespeople need to know this. If you go back to Hebrew, Aramaic, early Latin, and Greek, and you play with it, when we converted that, we use a Jamesian poetry or poetic text around the middle centuries, and we said, okay, we're going to translate this out, and they might have got it wrong. Okay, what it really says, if you use that same poetic tense, is not do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you use the same verse line, is do unto others as they would have you do unto them. In other words, don't treat people the way you want to be treated because that's selfish. Treat people the way they want to be treated. And if a salesperson can get that in their head, man, they are on the way to nirvana. And so what we did was we started looking at it, and there's a whole section in the book called the buyer's pyramid. Is your ability to look at somebody and predict what drives their buying behavior. And then the hardest thing for a sales professional to do is say, okay, I know who I am and I know who they are, and we're not the same. So if I'm going to be a good steward and serve them, I've got to treat them the way they want to be treated. For example, you might have a young 20-something-year-old professional getting their career going. They're scraping for every dollar. They're paying off debt. They're doing everything. So they're very, very price conscious, right? That doesn't mean your buyer's that way. So if you go out there and say, wow, I want to give them the lowest cost product. I want to do this because that's what I would want. I would want the best value for the dollar I can stretch out as far as I can because that's the mindset I've got right now. Yet you've got a C-suite professional sitting there. They could care less about price. What they care about is ROI over time. In other words, if I spend money with you for the amount of time that it's allocated, what is the return on that investment going to be? And they're thinking radically different. The same way, and we talk about this for middle managers, basically anybody who has a title, supervisor, director, vice president, or whatever. Most of the driving behaviors around their ability to consume products, whether it be corporate to corporate or personal, is based around perception, branding, marketing. That's why they wear Ralph Lauren shirts, and I like Ralph Lauren. I have no problem with Ralph Lauren, but they buy all the big brands out there because they want that perception of where I am. So if you go to them because you're a young 20-something-year-old and you're really price conscious and you think, oh, I've got to sell them the lowest price product, these people are looking at you as, oh my God, why does he want me to be cheap? Why does he want to sell me the cheap stuff? So whereas you might think, wow, for me, I'm a price person, you cannot treat other people that way because it's just simply wrong. So we did this whole thing called the buyer's pyramid that I think is really, really helpful for sales professionals because they can look at it and say, okay, I know who I am. Let's check that to the side for a minute. Who am I talking to? Am I talking to a committee? Am I selling to a group of like 5 or 6 people at this corporation that are all titled? They all are vice presidents, directors, supervisors. Guess what? All they care about is perception. All they care about is making sure that if something goes wrong, they can hide behind your brand. They can sit there and go, well, it was IBM. I don't know why it broke. Let's call them. Or it was Microsoft. Or it was Apple. I don't know. Or it was BMW. Those giant brands have so much invested in their reputation that things do go wrong. But you can't get in trouble for buying IBM. You can't get in trouble for buying Microsoft, right? So they have this incredible unfair advantage. But if you go in there and you try to sell to them the way you think it should be sold, then you're making a huge, huge, huge mistake. So I think one of the big aha moments was when we realized that these elite salespeople in the world, they don't treat people the way they want to be treated. They treat people the way the person that they're talking to wants to be treated. And they have this unbelievable ability to summarize it without judgment. No judgment. We do not allow judgment at Perfect Plan. It's just, how can I look at this person and respect them for who they are? And if I can respect them, then I can give them what they want, which will make me a better servant, which will make me a better steward. And we can make this transaction happen because they treat people the way they want to be treated, not the way the individual believes that the perception of it, they want to be treated. So it's not about treating people the way you want to be treated. It's about treating people the way they want to be treated. And that was a big aha moment too. And there's science. There's total science behind it. This isn't, this is, look at this person. There's a 99% chance this is their buying habit. Sell to them that way, and you're not doing it as a trick. You're doing it out of respect. You're respecting them for who they are.
This is gold, and this is the people part of this. This is understanding people that I think gets sorely overlooked in sales, and because we always are hitting salespeople with product knowledge, sales skill knowledge. All these things are equally important. Yeah. But this is people skills stuff. Yeah. This is the stuff this is what will make you those elite salespeople is unpacking all of this. That's what I love about your book.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. The one thing I tell salespeople all the time, and it hurts at first and they have to think about it. I'm like, you do not have the best product out there. We live in a world of a homogeneous relationship between value. In other words, the top 3, maybe even the top 5 people in your space are all just as good. What the client is trying to do is put themselves in a position not to make a bad decision. Yep. So if they're looking at your product and 2 or 3 others, and those 2 or 3 other companies are very, very good at what they do and they can deliver, that customer already won because they cannot make a bad decision now. So when a salesperson realizes that and they realize, oh my God, there are other people out there that are just as good as me, then what's going to separate it? It's going to be that human relationship. And as you know, we talk about this in the book, when people make a decision, 85% of that decision is based on their emotional response to you. Only 15% of the decision is made on the product. And the reason why, and this goes back to who, not how, they're not saying they're dumb. They're not saying they don't want to know. What they're saying is that they only need 15% of the knowledge to outsource success to you because you're the who, right? They don't want to know how to build the product. They don't want to know what you know. If they wanted to know what you knew, they would go back to school or they would change careers or they would do something. They want somebody that's going to help them get there faster. And they only need 15% of the data to know that they're comfortable in outsourcing the success to you. But man, they really want to feel good about you. Yep. So if you think about this, if you've got 3 different companies, 3 different products, all just as good, and the clients put themselves in a position where they cannot make a bad decision, then where is that weighting going to? It's going to you. They want to have that personal relationship. And it starts with respect. And these elite salespeople have so much respect because they treat the client the way the client wants to be treated, not the way they want to be treated. Then bam, man, you move to the top of the stack. And I always tell people, if you're performing at the highest level, if you're leaning in, you're doing everything the way you're supposed to, you got a superior product, you treated that client the way they want to be treated, and they still chose somebody else, give it to them, man. You've done because you're going to get it next time. Yeah, you're going to get the shot next time. And I learned this. I do a lot of work with the NBA and a lot of really, really elite athletes. And when they lose, if they put everything they got into it, they don't think anything about it. They go like, okay, I've got to work and be better next time. But man, give it to them. They beat me today. Yep. It's just the way it felt. I was trying to beat them. They beat me. Well, I'll get my shot next time. And then they go back out there. So if you've done all you can do and you do it with respect and treat people the way they want to be treated, and you're a good person, it's going to be fine. The numbers will fall in your camp well enough.
And that, folks, is the perfect plan. This is so good. We just touched this surface here today. That is the appetizer. You're going to want to grab this book and dive into it. It's so incredibly practical. And Don, I got to say, what you teach in this book that you shared with us today about the buyer pyramid, about CEOs, mid-level decision makers, and the rest, that has revolutionized my philosophy. And so many things in this book have been game changers for me. Thanks. So, and I know for many people in the Selling from the Heart community that we've introduced this to. So if you don't have the book, go grab a copy. If you do have the book, you know what incredibly valuable information is in this book. Go grab it again, pick it up, make it a summer read. Don, how can people get more Don Barden in their life?
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it, Darrell, and thank you for pitching the book. That's great. But I tell you, I'm a terrible salesperson when it comes to my own book. What I do, I tell people, and I tell them this all the time too. If somebody who, I love Selling from the Heart, if they hit me up on LinkedIn and they say, hey, I heard you today with, Selling from the Heart with Larry and Darrell, and I'd like a free copy of the book. Send me a note on LinkedIn and I will send you a free electronic copy, not a hard copy. But if they want an electronic copy of the book, I'll send it to them and then they can share it with whoever they want to share it with. But they got to mention, I saw this from Selling from the Heart. I'm a big believer in Selling from the Heart. But hit me up on LinkedIn, send me a note, and I'll be happy to send anybody that want a free e-copy of the book.
Super
That's
generous.
Great. You're awesome, dude.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for being so awesome. And Selling from the Heart champion, you rock. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything you're doing. Keep it going. It's the greatest profession in the world, and we need to be reminded sometimes that how good it is.
Absolutely. Thanks, awesome. As always, what incredible, so much power in this. And what I said at the beginning is so cool about this. We hear a lot of opinions out there, but this is based on actual research. This is based on data. And what we're finding is that the way we go about doing things makes a big difference. And Larry, I love what Don shared right there at the end about how, the reality is most of your clients are in a position where they can't make a bad decision between different companies that are all really awesome. We all know that if we're honest.
Yeah.
But what are we going to do to set ourselves apart? And this is where we have the opportunity as sales professionals to stand head and shoulders above sameness and really, really make a difference out there.
And it's why we firmly believe here at Selling from the Heart that soft skills will yield you hard dollars. Don takes it up a notch, and there's not a week that goes by I'm not quoting something out of Don Barden's book, by the way.
You and me both. It is amazing. You got to take Don up on that offer. I've referred this book to so many people because the concepts in here are simple, they're powerful, and they are life-changing. Larry, speaking of simple, powerful, and life-changing, life change is going to happen when you pre-order the re-release of Selling from the Heart on Barnes & Noble. Seriously, though, thank you to everybody out there who is pre-ordering this book, because our mission is very simple. We want to get the attention of Barnes & Noble so that this shows up not just on their website, but our hope is that it also shows up on their shelves in their stores, which helps spread this movement of authenticity inside the sales profession. And that means you can help. All you need to do is go to barnesandnoble.com, grab your pre-order copy of the latest, greatest, freshest re-release edition of Selling from the Heart. And while you're waiting for it to release on August 15th, you're going to get to take advantage of over $300 in special bonus items to make sure that you crush everything this summer and have a fantastic sales summer. Don't get caught in the slump. Make sure this is a super successful summer. Go to sellingfromtheheart.net/pre-order, and you'll find out how you can get the book on pre-order and get all of those wonderful thank you items. Thank you, Larry, for all that you're doing. This is an incredible movement of authenticity in the sales profession. I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'm so thankful for our audience. It is so cool to see this audience continue to grow as this movement spreads.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. And just a special shout out back to you, Darrell. It's all of this doesn't happen if we don't have that conversation a million years ago. You know what I'm talking about. But sometimes, Don talked about your who. Darrell, you've been the who to me. You believed in me sometimes when I didn't believe in myself. So thank you. I appreciate everybody. And when you go to Barnes & Noble and you order one book, can I just ask, order another one, pass it on to a friend when you get it on August 15th. Sorry, shameless plug, but I had to go there. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Well, sellingfromtheheart.net/pre-order. Make sure to like or subscribe. We have a phenomenal roster of guests coming to you all throughout this summer season to keep you focused and fired up. Thank you to everybody out there who's sharing the podcast. And until next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, execute the perfect plan, and most of all,
Sell from the heart.